For decades, Ron Howard seemed to represent the American dream. Audiences first knew him as the freckle-faced child actor who captured hearts on television, and later as the award-winning filmmaker behind some of Hollywood's most celebrated movies. His public image was one of stability, success, and quiet professionalism. While many child stars struggled under the pressure of fame, Howard appeared to navigate the entertainment industry with remarkable grace. Yet behind the awards, blockbuster films, and decades of success lies a story filled with difficult choices, painful regrets, and personal sacrifices that few people ever saw. Born on March 1, 1954, in Duncan, Oklahoma, Ronald William Howard entered a family already deeply connected to the performing arts. His father, Rance Howard, was an actor and writer, while his mother, Jean Spiegel Howard, was also an actress. Unlike many child performers who were pushed into the industry by ambitious parents, Ron grew up in a household that genuinely loved storytelling. Acting was not simply a path to fame. It was a craft, a profession, and a way of life. When the Howard family moved to California, opportunities began appearing almost immediately. Ron started appearing in television shows and films at an age when most children were still learning to read. By the time he landed the role of Opie Taylor on The Andy Griffith Show, he had already developed an unusual comfort in front of cameras. Audiences instantly connected with the relationship between Opie and Andy Taylor. What many viewers never realized was that much of the warmth on screen reflected lessons Ron learned from his own father. The Andy Griffith Show transformed Ron into one of the most recognizable child actors in America. Millions watched him grow up every week. Yet the success came with a hidden cost. While other children enjoyed carefree afternoons playing with friends, Ron spent countless hours on sets, memorizing scripts, and balancing schoolwork with professional responsibilities. Looking back years later, he described aspects of child stardom as a unique experience that separated him from ordinary childhood life. Despite these challenges, Ron avoided many of the pitfalls that destroyed other young stars. His parents maintained strict rules and focused on creating a stable home environment. They emphasized education, humility, and financial responsibility. Those values would remain with him throughout his life and eventually become some of the most important reasons for his long-term success. As Ron entered his teenage years, another challenge emerged. Child actors often struggle when audiences no longer see them as children. Many careers collapse during this transition. Howard faced the same uncertainty. The lovable boy from Mayberry had to convince Hollywood that he could grow into more mature roles. That opportunity arrived with Happy Days. Cast as Richie Cunningham, Howard once again found himself at the center of a cultural phenomenon. The series became one of television's biggest hits and introduced a new generation to his talents. Yet even as ratings soared, Ron found himself feeling increasingly restless. The success of Happy Days created a new problem. He was becoming trapped by his own popularity. Hollywood executives saw him as a television star, but Ron was developing ambitions that stretched far beyond acting. He wanted creative control. He wanted to tell stories from behind the camera. Few people took those ambitions seriously at first. After all, he was still known primarily as Richie Cunningham. But Howard quietly studied directing techniques, observed filmmakers at work, and learned every aspect of production. While others focused on celebrity status, he focused on education. His first major opportunity came through legendary producer Roger Corman. Known for giving young filmmakers their first chance, Corman agreed to let Howard direct a feature film after appearing in one of his productions. The result was Grand Theft Auto, a modestly budgeted film that proved Howard possessed genuine directing talent. That single opportunity changed everything. Throughout the 1980s, Howard gradually transformed himself from television actor into respected filmmaker. Projects such as Night Shift and Splash demonstrated that he could successfully direct commercial films while maintaining strong storytelling. Each success expanded his reputation and increased industry confidence in his abilities. Yet professional success often came with personal sacrifices. As Howard's directing career accelerated, the demands on his time became increasingly intense. Long production schedules kept him away from home. international filming locations required extended absences. The pressure of managing large productions created stress that audiences never witnessed. One of the most significant themes in Howard's life has been family. In 1975, he married Cheryl Alley, his high school sweetheart. Their marriage would eventually become one of Hollywood's longest-lasting relationships. In an industry known for instability, their partnership stood out as something rare. However, even successful marriages face challenges. Years later, Howard openly reflected on periods when work consumed too much of his attention. Certain productions required months away from home. During those absences, Cheryl carried much of the responsibility of raising their children. Howard has acknowledged that while he was pursuing professional achievements, important family moments sometimes slipped away. Those reflections became especially meaningful as his children grew older. Among them was Bryce Dallas Howard, who would eventually build a successful acting and directing career of her own. Watching his daughter navigate the entertainment industry gave Ron a new perspective on parenthood and the pressures young performers face. One regret Howard has discussed involves the balance between career ambition and family presence. Success often demands sacrifices, but determining which sacrifices are worthwhile can be difficult. Looking back, Howard recognized moments when he wished he had spent more time at home and less time focused on work. Another deeply emotional chapter involved his relationship with his younger brother, Clint Howard. Like Ron, Clint entered the entertainment industry at an early age. Yet their careers followed very different paths. While Ron achieved extraordinary mainstream success, Clint faced more difficult professional challenges. The differences created complicated emotions within the family. In later years, both brothers spoke candidly about the pressures of Hollywood and the personal struggles that accompanied life in the spotlight. Their honesty revealed a side of success rarely discussed publicly, the emotional weight carried by families navigating the entertainment industry together. As Howard's directing career reached new heights, projects became increasingly ambitious. Films such as Apollo 13 showcased his ability to combine emotional storytelling with technical excellence. The movie earned critical acclaim and demonstrated his commitment to authenticity. Yet creating Apollo 13 required enormous effort. Howard immersed himself in research, collaborated closely with experts, and pushed himself relentlessly throughout production. The workload became so intense that it reportedly affected his physical health. Long days, constant decision-making, and immense responsibility created levels of stress few viewers could imagine. The film's success ultimately justified the effort, but it also highlighted a recurring pattern in Howard's career. His dedication often came at a personal cost. The same pattern appeared during the making of A Beautiful Mind. The film would become one of the defining achievements of his career, earning multiple Academy Awards and securing Howard's place among Hollywood's elite directors. Yet behind the scenes, the pressure to deliver excellence remained constant. Unlike many filmmakers who cultivate larger-than-life public personas, Howard rarely sought attention for himself. Colleagues frequently described him as calm, collaborative, and focused on the work rather than celebrity. That reputation helped him maintain professional relationships across decades of industry change. Still, even the most successful careers include disappointments. Not every film became a hit. Some projects failed commercially. Others received mixed reviews. Howard has experienced setbacks that forced him to reassess creative choices and confront professional uncertainty. Those moments reminded him that success is never guaranteed, regardless of past achievements. Perhaps the most painful losses involved family. The death of his father, Rance Howard, marked the end of a relationship that shaped every stage of Ron's life. Rance had been more than a parent. He was a mentor, teacher, collaborator, and constant source of support. Ron often spoke about the lessons his father taught him. Those lessons extended beyond acting. They included humility, professionalism, perseverance, and respect for others. Even after becoming one of Hollywood's most accomplished filmmakers, Howard continued crediting his father for much of his success. Losing that guiding presence was devastating. The years that followed brought additional reflection. Howard increasingly discussed the importance of gratitude, family, and perspective. After decades spent chasing creative goals, he found himself evaluating what truly mattered. One of the most remarkable aspects of Howard's story is that despite immense success, he remains unusually open about mistakes. Rather than presenting a flawless image, he has acknowledged regrets, failures, and missed opportunities. That honesty makes his achievements feel more human. Today, Ron Howard's legacy extends far beyond box office numbers or awards. He represents a rare example of someone who successfully navigated childhood fame, reinvented himself as a filmmaker, maintained a lasting marriage, and remained respected across multiple generations of Hollywood. His story is not one of perfection. It is a story of persistence. It is a story of learning from mistakes. It is a story of balancing ambition with responsibility and recognizing that even extraordinary success cannot erase every regret. The devastating details Ron Howard has shared over the years are not shocking scandals or hidden secrets. They are something far more relatable. They are the quiet truths about family, sacrifice, missed moments, and the difficult choices that accompany a life spent pursuing greatness. Behind every award stood years of pressure. Behind every successful film stood countless sacrifices. Behind every public smile stood private struggles. And perhaps that is what makes Ron Howard's journey so compelling. Despite all the fame, wealth, and recognition, his life reflects challenges familiar to millions of people everywhere. The desire to succeed, the fear of failure, the struggle to balance work and family, the regret of time that can never be recovered. After more than half a century in entertainment, Ron Howard continues creating, mentoring, and telling stories. His career remains one of Hollywood's most extraordinary success stories. Yet the lessons he shares today are not about fame. They are about appreciating the people who matter most before opportunities disappear. Because in the end, the greatest achievements are not measured by awards, ratings, or box office receipts. They are measured by relationships, memories, and the impact we leave on those we love. For Ron Howard, that realization may be the most important story of all.